The Duality Revolution, redefining Black womanhood through authenticity. Welcome to a space where perceptions are challenged, complexity is celebrated, and the multifaceted nature of Black womanhood is honored in all its glory. Recently, I had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Lamon for the Pink Parachute Diaries podcast, a visionary whose work has fundamentally transformed how we perceive Black women's voices in our society. Lamon isn't just a voice, she's a force of nature who has dedicated her life to dismantling the confining boxes that have historically limited Black women's expression. Through her powerful advocacy for authenticity and creative self expression, she has created pathways for countless women to step fully into their truth. Her impact ripples through communities, transforming individual lives while simultaneously reshaping cultural narratives about what Black womanhood can and should look like. Have you ever been told you're too much, too strong, too soft, too loud, too quiet, too ambitious, too caring? The policing of Black women's behavior has become so normalized that many of us don't even recognize when we're contorting ourselves to fit impossible standards. For generations, Black women have been forced into these impossible boxes, expected to be strong but not intimidating, nurturing but not weak, ambitious but not threatening. These contradictions create a suffocating paradox where authenticity becomes a luxury many cannot afford. The emotional toll of this constant shape shifting is immeasurable, yet rarely acknowledged. But what if I told you that embracing these supposed contradictions, this duality, is actually your superpower? When I spoke with Lamon, she emphasized something profound that stopped me in my tracks. She said, authenticity isn't just about being yourself, it's about being your whole self, even the part society tells you to hide. This insight resonated deeply with me, especially as we explore how Black women navigate professional spaces while maintaining their full humanity. The truth is, we've been fed a dangerous myth that strength and nurturing exist on opposite ends of a spectrum. That to be taken seriously, Black women must choose be the unshakable pillar or the compassionate caretaker, never both. This false dichotomy has fractured how we show up in the world, forcing many to compartmentalize their identities to fit into spaces never designed for them. But the women I've had the honor of featuring on the Pink Parachute Diaries are shattering this myth every single day, reminding us that our complexity is not a liability, it's our greatest asset. Take Ashley Sims, whose work with Build in Tulsa demonstrates this duality in action. In a city with a complex racial history, the site of one of America's most devastating racial massacres, Ashley stands firmly in her conviction that Black Wall Street is not a history lesson, but a blueprint. This declaration isn't just powerful rhetoric, it's backed by remarkable action. With 20 years of experience spanning journalism and nonprofit leadership, Ashley has raised more than $16 million dollars for four different organizations. Since taking the helm at Build in Tulsa in 2022, she's grown a network of 400 entrepreneurs, facilitated over 10,000 hours of training and coaching, and invested $10.5 million dollars with underrepresented founders. These numbers reflect undeniable strength and business acumen. But what makes Ashley's work truly revolutionary is how she pairs this formidable leadership with deep nurturing. She doesn't just fund businesses, she creates comprehensive support systems. She doesn't just talk about entrepreneurship, she coaches, mentors, and champions Black founders through every stage of their journey. When I asked Lamona about Ashley's impact, she noted This is what happens when we refuse to fragment ourselves. When we bring our whole selves to our work, we don't just change individual lives, we transform entire communities. This transformation extends beyond economic empowerment into creative expression, which brings me to another remarkable woman, Sakina Hoffler. As a multi talented writer and poet, Sakina navigates the competitive literary world while maintaining an authentic voice that addresses difficult social realities. Her poem, Grieve, Goddess Sings, for the Black Sons of America, doesn't shy away from the raw pain of racial injustice, yet it also tenderly holds space for collective healing. Sakina's work has earned her prestigious recognition, including the 2024 NYC Forge Fellowship and the 2024 Analog Award for Emerging Black Voices. But what's most striking about her creative journey is her refusal to be pigeonholed. She moves fluidly between poetry, essays, and fiction, each medium becoming a different facet through which her complete voice shines. Creative expression isn't just about art. Le Monde reflected during our conversation. It's about self definition. When Black women write our own stories, compose our own music, craft our own poetry, we reclaim the power to define ourselves on our own terms. This self definition is revolutionary in a world that constantly attempts to flatten Black women's experiences into convenient stereotypes. It's why platforms created by and for Black women are so essential to this cultural shift. Consider the hosts of Girl, Call Me with Tanya and Jessica, who recognized the glaring absence of spaces where Black women could discuss sensitive topics like health disparities, body image, stress, and hypervigilance. Their podcast emerged from what they call Girl Call Me moments. Those instances when you desperately need to connect with someone who truly understands the unique experiences of navigating the world as a Black woman. What makes their platform so powerful is how it simultaneously demonstrates strength and nurturing. It takes tremendous courage to address topics often considered taboo or uncomfortable. Yet, in creating this space, they are nurturing a community where Black women can hear their experiences validated and normalized. During my interview with Lamont Lamont, she emphasized how these women exemplify a truth that's been obscured for far too long. The ability to be both strong minded and nurturing isn't a contradiction, it's our natural state. The contradiction is in a society that forces us to choose. This insight cuts to the heart of what I have observed across countless interviews. The most impactful Black women leaders aren't those who've mastered being one dimensional. They're the ones who've reclaimed their right to complexity, to be fierce advocates and compassionate mentors, to speak hard truths and create spaces of belonging, to challenge systems and nurture growth. As Maya Angelou wisely noted, I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. That's me. This celebration of womanhood in all its complexity continues to inspire generations of Black women to embrace their multidimensional nature. But embracing this duality isn't just personally fulfilling, it's professionally transformative. Research consistently shows that diverse leadership approaches drive innovation and create more inclusive workplaces. When Black women bring their full selves to professional spaces, everyone benefits from the richness of perspective that comes from navigating multiple identities and experiences. Of course, there's a very real cost to authenticity in spaces that weren't designed for us. Le Monde didn't minimize this reality during our conversation. Being your authentic self in hostile environments requires tremendous courage. She acknowledged, not everyone has the privilege or safety to do so in every context. This acknowledgement is crucial. The burden shouldn't fall solely on individual Black women to change systems by simply being themselves. Organizational cultures, leadership structures, and societal norms must evolve to value the full spectrum of leadership styles and personal expressions. Yet, even as we work toward these broader changes, there's profound power in recognizing that the compartmentalization many of us have been forced into isn't natural. It's a response to external pressures that were never about our well being. So, what does this mean for you, for all of us? This isn't just a conversation about identity, it's a call to revolution, a revolution that begins with how we see ourselves and extends to how we transform the world around us. If you're a Black woman, I challenge you to interrogate the ways you've been taught to fragment yourself. What parts of your personality have you been hiding? What aspects of your leadership have you been downplaying? What would it look like to bring your full, glorious, complex self into every room you enter? If you're not a Black woman, I challenge you to examine how you might be perpetuating these false dichotomies. How might you be contributing to environments where Black women feel they must choose between being respected and being authentic? How can you actively create spaces that honor and celebrate the full spectrum of Black women's expression? For organizations, this means moving beyond superficial diversity initiatives to create cultures where multidimensional leadership is not just accepted, but valued. It means recognizing that the most innovative solutions often come from those who bring diverse perspectives and approaches to the table. The revolution I'm calling for isn't comfortable. It demands that we confront our own internalized limitations. It requires that we challenge systems designed to keep us small. It asks us to imagine new possibilities for leadership, for community, for humanity itself. But as Le Monde reminds us, when we dare to be our whole selves, we create ripples that extend far beyond our individual experience. We create permission for others to do the same. Imagine a world where Black women no longer feel compelled to choose between their strength and their tenderness, where their complexity is seen not as a contradiction, but as a source of power, where their leadership transforms organizations, communities, and systems precisely because it draws from the full spectrum of human experience. That world isn't just possible, it's emerging right now through the work of women like Ashley Sims, Sakina Hofler, and countless others who refuse to be reduced to a single dimension. So I leave you with this: embrace your contradictions, honor your complexity, bring your full, glorious, multidimensional self to everything you do. Because the revolution we need, the transformation our world is crying out for, begins with the courage to be authentically, unapologetically whole. The duality revolution isn't coming, it's already here, and it begins with you.